In this video I would like to present one stroke that I call the rudder, and it's very useful to control the direction of the kayak and to not lose speed when we are changing direction. In the way I teach the rudder, the pressure on the blade always has to be on the internal side of the blade, not in the external. I only pull on the blade. This stroke is also very useful to learn how to use the paddle as a wing into the water. When we paddle or we do other strokes, we just place the paddle in one place and the paddle ideally shouldn't move. Instead, in the rudder, the paddle is sliding into the water. This stroke allows to trace a curve without losing the speed, as normally happen when I do like a sweep strokes or any other strokes that turn the kayak. How we do the rudder? The rudder, basically, you have to start from the basic position to the start position. You have to turn completely your shoulder without moving much the arms, basically, leaning a little bit back and put the paddle into the water. It's very important to keep the shoulder parallel to the shaft. You can look behind towards the tail or in the direction you want to go to help the rotation of your shoulder. When you turn your shoulder, you should check that your arm is basically 90 degrees with your kayak. To execute the stroke, you basically have to stay still. You have to keep that position without letting your blade to open, but just be strong, hold your paddle, keep your abdominal muscle activated so the blade stay in the same position and you can feel the pressure on this blade. These strokes can be done in the back of your kayak or in the center. What you have to change is basically only the inclination of your shoulder and your shaft. In the center position, you will be close to your seat, while when you are leaning back, when you're doing the back rudder, you are close to your tail. Let's see how we execute the rudder. First of all, you need to have speed. You need to give some speed to the kayak, otherwise there's nothing to maintain. Second, you need to start an internal curve. What does it mean? It means that you need one little stroke that push a little bit more, and so if you let go the paddle, the kayak will start turning in the direction you want to turn. You don't need a sweep stroke or anything powerful, but just enough to have the kayak that want to turn in that direction. Third, we need to place the rudder before the kayak start turning properly and the tail drift. 4. As soon as we have this position, we will start feeling the pressure when the kayak wants to turn, and we need to control the direction by changing slightly the position of our blade and the angle of our blade. But we'll see later what are the corrections you can do. In the flat water, the effect of the rudder, it's not very clear, it's very gentle. And you can also do, and you can try this one in small current, so you can feel it a little bit more by enter or exit a current. How we control the rudder? You can do two different things. You can move your blade from back to the center. In this way, if you move to the center, the kayak will turn a little bit more. Can also change your angle between your shaft and your kayak. If you are more parallel to your kayak, the kayak tends to turn less and it will go more straight. If you open this angle a little bit, the kayak will turn a little bit more. Let's see now some common mistakes when people are trying to learn this movement. One of the classic mistakes is that you wait too much before actually having the rudder into the water. If you wait and too much and the kayak has already turned, of course you have lost your speed, so the rudder doesn't work. Another classic mistake is to not pull enough when the paddle actually is starting to put some pressure on this blade. In this way, the paddle basically opens, and you will not feel the effect you want, of course. If you don't feel that the paddle is actually pulling properly, it means that it's not necessary the rudder in that moment, probably, because the kayak is not turning enough. A classic mistake also is that the curve is not in the right direction. If you let the kayak turn on the other side before actually putting the rudder, that will probably end up in a flip, because the paddle just get under your kayak and you tend to flip on the other side. After you really master this movement and you can really feel your movement as yours, you can try to do the draw stroke. The draw stroke is like the rudder, but it's with an additional rotation of your body to increase the curve of your kayak. If you like this video, you can find more on micheleramazza.com in the technique section. Thank you.